Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video, and I am once again joined by Mikey Savage 21. Man, why don't you say hello to everyone listening?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your favorite internet sweaty, your boy Mikey Savage 21. Today I'm not going to be getting sweaty and talking about movies. I'm going to be getting sweaty and talking about one of my favorite anime of all time, Dragon Ball Super to be specifically.
Yeah, totally, man. All right, guys, so you know how we do in this channel, but we're going to be discussing something that we saw in episode 108 of Dragon Ball Super that really kind of shook me, honestly, as a fan, and I'm just wanting to get not only my interpretations out there from what we just saw and what the ramifications of it might be in the future, but also Mikey's and also y'all's as well, because the conversation just isn't between us, it's between all of you guys. So go down to the comment section below and share your thoughts and opinions, and definitely stay to listen to ours as well. But with that being said, man, we got this part at the very end of episode 108 where Frost gets completely erased by Zeno, or one of the Zenos, or both the Zenos, we're not necessarily sure, and it leaves me scratching my head, because going up into this tournament, you know, getting to this actual point when we get to see Frost actually be relevant again, or doing something in the tournament, or even showing him actually interacting with Frieza in any real way, I was wondering, and I'm sure a lot of people were also wondering, whether or not Frost was going to have some kind of a change of heart, or figure out that he doesn't necessarily need to be bad. Because look, as far as we can tell, or as much as we know as fans, Frieza cannot, and I repeat, cannot ever really change his mind. He always has to be kind of a nasty type of person. He can't be a good guy.
That's true.
Most of the villains in Dragon Ball usually become bad guy, or from bad guys to good guys. You know, we got Yamcha, Tenshinhan, Piccolo, Vegeta. I mean, the list goes on and on. But Frieza was, Majin Buu too. Frieza was never going to be that guy. But Frost could be that guy. I mean, and I feel like nothing more like punctuates this more than the English dub of Dragon Ball Super is actually on the Frost episodes of the Champa Arc tournament that we saw way back in the day with the original Japanese dub. And I'm just wondering, by erasing Frost right here and now, are we losing the idea, or just the possibility of someone like Frost, or even a Frieza race character, actually turning from evil to good and having the fan base basically accept and be okay with that if he never comes back? I mean, he was erased. We haven't at this point seen anyone who's been erased actually be brought back in any real meaningful way. So what are your thoughts on that?
Like I said, I think it's a real waste that they killed Frost off the way they did. I mean, again, like I was saying off air, I think the Zenos need a spanking. The Grand Priest needs to take his belt off and just spank these two, because they have just completely just thrown this tournament off course. They're just making the rules up as they go. What was the purpose of even having rules? And the whole erasing Frost, I mean, I was like, okay, why would you erase Frost? I mean, yeah, he broke the tournament, but wouldn't it be cool, as they usually say, to see him attack Frieza and Frieza go head to head with each other? You guys were literally just saying a few minutes ago, oh gosh, they're going to both team up. That's so cool. Now it's like, no, we're going to erase you. You're annoying. Go away. So I do think it's a waste, because there could have been so much potential. Even with Frost on the sideline, there's still so much potential, because, again, he is basically like Frieza's evil twin, or eviler, or I guess less evil twin to a certain degree. So he could have been very useful for commentating on the side in terms of Champa's team. But now he's been erased, and as far as we know, like you said, they don't have any plans to bring him back. I hope they bring him back, because what was the purpose of even having him in this tournament then? Besides for him to have a few cool moments here and there, and then just ultimately get vanished and wiped out by the Zenos.
I agree. And in fact, look, I even mentioned this, I feel like, on a video a couple days back, but let's be clear. We've only seen 2 tournaments in this particular arc, or this particular series right now. And as weird as it is, the only people we actually get flashbacks for in either of those tournaments, between like where they were and what they were doing and their motivation for actually being there, is Frost. In the very first tournament, we get to see Frost actually being a good guy, and that was basically set up to basically trick us, because obviously he's not a very good guy. But in this one, we got a flashback with him talking with Vados and Champa, saying, look, I'm going to do my best to bring peace, or at least save my universe, and I'm going to redeem myself and everything. And literally, that was one episode ago. And as soon as we come back from that week, he just basically gets taken out of the tournament and he gets erased. It's just, I don't necessarily know why they decide to take so much effort to explain why Frost is the way he is. We already know these characters are evil, or at least irredeemable if Frieza's anything to go off on. And it was making me think, at least leading up to this particular episode, that they're spending this time on him because even though Frieza or him, we didn't know at the time, but obviously now we know that Frieza was the one who actually was going to betray Frost at any point, because obviously Frieza was much stronger than Frost. I was at least thinking they were spending this time on him. They were doing this because he was actually going to have that turn into a good guy, and he was actually going to go and fight with the Sadal Force and Kaba, Khalifa, and Kale at some point, and, you know, fight on Universe 6's side as a good guy. And no one would be mad about that. I mean, obviously, I'm sure somebody would be mad about that, but honestly, I feel like most people would be completely okay with that, having a good Frieza that's not necessarily the Frieza that we all know and hate, or love to hate, really. And I feel like now that whole prospect is completely gone if they're never going to bring him back. Now, I do think that we should be talking about, you know, just discussing general, I guess, speculation or ideas of how they could bring him back. I mean, obviously, before we started recording this, you mentioned the Super Dragon Balls, as I'm sure a lot of people here are now thinking. You want to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, we basically know that the last man standing is going to get a wish from the Super Dragon Balls, and most of us assume that it's going to be someone from Universe 7, and of course, they're ultimately going to wish probably everyone back. And then I like one of the theories that Geekdom had where Goku could end up being the winner and make the mistake in his wording and wish all the universes back, including the 4 universes that we didn't get to see Zeno destroy ultimately.
The 6, you mean? The 6.
The 6, excuse me, the 6. Including, maybe, I guess that would mean Future Trunks' timeline would come back then, technically. I don't know. But yeah, I think that, you know, if Goku or Gohan or someone of a righteous heart ultimately is the last man standing, they're going to wish for things to go back to the way they were, or they wish all the universes back or whatever. And I think again, we don't know if what the dragon can ultimately do. We know the dragon can apparently, as of episode 108, can kill gods, but how far up the ladder can it kill gods? Can it take out Whis? Can it take out the Grand Priest? Is it the dragon even more powerful than the Zenos themselves? These are still questions that we don't know, but I ultimately do think that one way to bring Frost back again would be just use the Super Dragon Balls. And then for all we know, Grand Priest or Zeno can bring people back themselves. They might not just be able to destroy, they might be able to create and bring back as well. But I do ultimately think that they're going to use the Super Dragon Balls into some capacity to bring all the fallen universes back, including the 6 that we haven't seen.
You know, I've never necessarily heard that. I guess I missed that speculation from Danny the other day whenever he did it. It's an interesting thought. In fact, I've always been wanting to see those 6 universes and why they're actually why they were brought up and whether or not they're actually important to the overall story. I mean, who knows? I'm just going to go ahead and disagree, though. I don't necessarily think, although I've I guess campaigned on this, obviously, because it's just the most easy theory you can have as to how everything kind of gets washed away. All the tension, all the destruction that we see throughout this tournament just kind of eases itself away, and we're left with exactly where we started. But I really hope that that's not what happens. I've argued on my channel before that I would rather the Zenos only take out a couple more universes, or maybe even leave it to 9 and 10, because although 9 and 10 might have been interesting, they weren't necessarily they didn't put a whole lot of effort into these particular universes. They didn't necessarily create amazing designs or even characters strong enough to fight Goku and Vegeta or anybody else that we follow in this series. So taking them away is completely fine. In fact, not only taking them away, but also taking their twin universes away, because as we all know, they all have to equal up to 13. That was the rule that was given to us a couple arcs back. So taking 9 and 4 away, and then taking 10 and 2 away wouldn't take 10 and 3 away, wouldn't be all that bad, and leave us with less universes to actually explore, but also not necessarily taking away all the tension that this tournament brought. So but the only problem with that really is if that actually ends up occurring, then Frost isn't really coming back, and they do lose the character potential of someone like an evil or a good Frieza opposed to the evil Frieza that we've always seen. So, I mean, that's just really up there. I want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section below. Do you think that they should bring back Frost, or do you think that, you know, he's not that important, so we don't necessarily need to bring him back? And at the same time, before we get out of here, man, do you have anything left to say?
I will say this much. In terms of the MacGuffins of the Dragon Balls, as we know, I hope they don't use that as a way to get out of this whole entire thing, because ultimately, like, I agree with you where I feel like the Dragon Balls, since they've been introduced, there has been no tension, no stakes. I mean, you have limitations on the Dragon Balls in terms of certain things like how many individuals it can bring back and how many times people can be brought back. But then when they introduced the Namek Dragon Balls, that nerfed all of that. And then now you have the Super Dragon Balls that supersede both the Namek Balls and the Earth Dragon Balls as well. So I'm hoping they don't use those for that purpose, just to bring everybody back again, because then Zeno will be like, okay, let's do the tournament all over again. Knowing how childish he is, he'll just be like, oh, let's just do the tournament all over again. And be like, really, Zeno? Really? You're that bored. You want to do this all over again? Okay, all right, Goku, get you a sensu bean. Vegeta, you do you some push-ups. Get some juice. I guess we're gonna do this again. Hey guys, let's do fusion. We'll just go ahead and throw fusion on in there. Master Roshi, make sure you've had your sensu bean. Okay, make sure you get you a couple of Mafuba jars. We're just gonna just Mafuba a bunch of people left and right, just like last time. But no, I hope they. I hope they ultimately don't use the Dragon Balls to ultimately just wish everything away. But I do think that the Zenos themselves, or maybe even the Grand Priest, might bring Frost back to some capacity, because we don't know whether or not Zeno or the Grand Priest can bring universes back once they've been destroyed. That's not been established yet. And I mean, it would be a cool concept if they could bring people back. But yeah, I do think it's a waste that Frost is gone. I hope they do find some way to bring him back in some form, shape, or capacity, whether it's like back into the main series, or maybe even have like, I don't know, maybe have like some flashback scenes of Frost and everything and what exactly he was doing besides him running around because he's a wanted man, and Hit ultimately finding him. What was he doing in between then? Because Hit said he got stronger. I mean, he said, okay, yeah, you got stronger because, you know, I've been running and I have to constantly keep running. From what I've seen, running doesn't necessarily make you stronger. So he ultimately had to have done some more training off screen. Plus, we also revealed in episode 108 that he is able to do the 100% form. And so now I would like to see some more, like, how did he discover the 100% form? Like, did he just do it right then and there like Kale and Khalifa and just get these transformations? And then it's like, oh, I just need to see it once and I can magically do it now. Hopefully that's not how it plays out, but I do want to see Frost come back in some shape or capacity, and I'm hoping that Akira Toriyama or the writers on the Toei staff find some way to bring Frost back into the forefront of the Dragon Ball Super series.
I completely agree. I feel like losing him would be a loss to the series as a whole, considering the fact that we don't know how Frieza is going to be reacting after all these things play out. We don't know whether he's going to join the main cast, be alive in some way, shape, or form, or just go back to his tree. We don't know. So guys, please make sure to go down to the comment section below and share your thoughts and opinions. Please make sure to go down to the description section below, hit that link, and go subscribe to Mikey. He makes some really awesome content. Like he said at the beginning of this video, he says that he does movie reviews and Testify talks and box office breakdowns. We don't know for how much longer, but guys, make sure to go check him out. Obviously, guys, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. But with that being said, guys, we hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.
See ya.